if it records. Okay, there we go. Loaded bases. Mike Dubs. How's it going?
How's it going, man? I'm doing good, and it's getting cold here in Minnesota, but you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
We'll actually I don't mind it
It's
now.
it's it's not too bad here yet. I mean, because I'm in Central Washington, so see, it's the other day. It was 70 in October, which
Okay.
is weird, but then today it was in the 40s. So
Oh yeah.
it
Yeah,
is
it was in the 70s yesterday, today in the 50s, and then tomorrow low 50s, high 40s.
snow is coming, my man.
I know. I'm not ready for that part.
So first off, thank you for being on this.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
So we're gonna start out with a celebratory cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. There we go. So, what do you do? What is your where's the hat that you wear?
So I am they're called radio personalities. I always thought that they were DJs, but they're radio personalities. And I wanted to be one since I was like 15.
Oh wow.
And so I started doing part-time in Chicago with a country station there. And then after doing that for like about a year and a half, 2 years, I was putting my resume everywhere. And my program director at the time goes, you know, you applied for Springfield, Missouri, which is like a market 64. He goes, you should be in like top 10, top 20. And I'm like, oh, okay. And he goes, so we have this spot in Minnesota doing nights and some other stuff, and it's yours if you want it. You just got to kind of interview for it.
Yeah.
And so I did that. I actually quit. I was working at a grocery store at the time, and I quit because I didn't like the manager. And I was going to work at Dick's because I knew one of the managers there. I went to high school with them, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'll just work at Dick's. I'll work in the baseball department because they already needed somebody. So I was like, I'll do that. And when I went to go interview for Dick's, that's when I got the call from the station up here saying that, hey, we're going to hire you. And so I literally filled out all the paperwork at Dick's, my tax info and everything. And I was like, I'm going to have to quit.
Damn. So you were almost a full official employee and then quit.
Yeah. I was almost a full employee at Dick's. And then I was like, yeah, I can't. I got to go. I was like, the dream is calling.
Well, yeah, I mean, because if you've like always wanted to do that, I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Oh yeah. And then shit happened and they let me go. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go walk across the street to the competition. And now that's what I work for.
Hey, sometimes you got to do that though.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I love it over here. K102. So if you're listening, 102.1 K102 in Minneapolis or on the iHeart app, look it up.
Hey, I will post that all over.
Yeah, I do weekends. So I do weekend on Saturdays. I'm on 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then Saturdays 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then I'll be on tomorrow and Friday, like afternoon, because our afternoon guy's gone.
So it's say a few weeks ago, I got asked to do like a sports radio show like for like an afternoon, and that was like my first time like in like an actual radio booth, and it felt awesome.
Oh yeah,
20 times better than my home studio makeshift stuff I have.
Oh yeah, I think when you go into the studio, when you first see it, you're like, there's a lot of buttons here. Like if you're at like where the board and everything is, you're like,
yeah,
like they terrify me. Like every time I walk into the studio, every time I see a board, I'm just like, oh no. I'm like, just tell me which buttons I need to hit. And half the time it's like, oh, just these two right here. And it's like, well, then why do you have 900 buttons?
That's what I'm saying. It was, I mean, like, I'm just glad that I was just sitting on the other end, but it was terrifying. But then, but then you get used to it and you just go and have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is your baseball background? I mean, you big Cubs fan.
Yep, huge Cubs fan from the south side of Chicago. There's only a few of us.
Ooh.
Which is, so me and my buddy, our best friend now, we grew up as Cubs fans. There's like two or three of us in our friend group that are that became Cubs fans and
Mhm.
get terrorized. But I I've played baseball since I was like 6.
Yeah.
So I did that. It was my first when I was 6, joined my first team. My dad signed me up. I knew nobody. I didn't even know. Like, I knew that you hit the ball through it, run, whatever. And my dad said I was the goofiest kid out there. He goes, you had soccer cleats because we couldn't afford like baseball cleats. So you had soccer cleats on. And he goes, when a house, like the roof is like at like at the angle, he goes,
Yeah.
that's the bill of your hat to the side. And you're just standing out there. I was like, yeah.
Enjoying it.
Yeah. And then I became and then I think I played the outfield, I think. And then my next year I joined, like when I actually started to grasp the concept, oh, this is actually really cool. I
Yeah.
started playing shortstop and pitcher, and my dad actually got in a fight with the coach because I pitched the day before and we got there and my coach was like, "Hey, do you want to pitch if this kid's not coming today?" And I go, "Yeah. You mean to tell me I get to pitch 2 times in a row?"
That's awesome.
And so my dad sees me warming up, throwing out there, gets a fight. You're gonna burn out his arm. He's only 8. Da, da, da. And I'm like, Dad, I want to pitch.
Yeah.
Like, this is fun. And he goes, no, he's gonna ruin your arm. And my arm finally caught up to me. I played all the way through high school, senior year, and then I was done.
Yeah, same. I mean, because I played through like my freshman and sophomore year of college, and I had to get my rotator cuff redone, and then my labrum, and then now I have a
Damn.
partially torn UCL. So that's my
Man.
ending to baseball. But I mean, like, cause I have like a similar story. Like, I mean, cause I remember like when I was like 12, and I remember like my mom like yelling like on my coaches like, "You're gonna hurt his arm," blah blah blah. And I'm just like, "Mom, like stop, like let me be, like I'm fine,
Right.
we're good."
It's so like, as a kid, you're not even thinking of that. Now as an adult, you're like, yeah, they were kind of right.
Hey, parents are right about a lot of things. It's surprisingly, I mean, the older you get, like the
Mhm.
more you realize.
I actually, when I was on my second little league team, that's when I got my first ever baseball card because I didn't know anything about. Because when we would win, our I don't know where he would get them. I think our coach's dad like worked for the mafia because I remember every time we won, we got $50.
What?
Like every time we won, we got $50, and every time we lost, we get baseball cards. And so our first, it's weird. And
That's
so
insane.
yeah, so
That's
our
random.
yeah,
That's weird.
so it kind of gave us an incentive, like, oh, we should win so we could get money.
But if you lose, you get baseball cards. Yay.
Yeah, and so we lose our first game, and they're handing out these cards, and I get it, and I look, and I go, I was like, I was like, who do you? I was like, do you have a Cubs player? Like, I'm just like, it's like, I don't have a Cubs player. I was like, I'm looking around trying to switch with people. Are like, no, I don't want to switch. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I get the card, bring it home, and I go, my dad goes, do you guys get this for or losing? And I go, yeah. And I was like, I don't know who he is, but he looks cool. And he goes, you know who this is? And I was like, I was like, I don't know. I'm like 8, Dad. I don't know.
It's
He goes,
a guy on a card.
yeah, this guy's actually going to be really good. Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So it was a Ken Griffey Jr. card, and he took me to go see him play against the White Sox. And I'm like,
Mhm.
and he's like, there's the guy that's on your card. And ever since then, Ken Griffey Jr. has been my favorite player. So I owe my
Exact
coach.
same.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm like, all right.
awesome. You got a
So yeah.
random baseball card.
A
Was
Ken
it
Griffey Jr. card that I don't have no idea where it is now, but I was like, that's the story my dad always told me, is that I didn't know who he was,
That
and he
is
took me to go
awesome.
see him, and that's how Ken Griffey Jr. became my favorite player ever.
Yeah, see, I mean, because I'm lucky because I guess like because I grew up like in the Northwest, so
Right.
I mean, it's kind of just like the quick drive like up
Hmm.
to Seattle. I mean, it's like a 2 hour drive up there,
Right.
but yeah, no, like I am glad that I got to watch that guy.
Oh yeah,
It,
same here. I got because I think I don't think they fit anymore, but I had the Griffey Mariners jersey. I had a Griffey Reds jersey, and then when he went to the White Sox, I was like, screw it, I don't care. I'm buying a Griffey White Sox jersey. And then
Hey,
I got to
that's
see him play.
understandable.
Yeah, I got to see him play in the blackout game. I think it was like game 163. They
Ooh,
face? Who'd they face? I don't remember. Was it no?
I'm on it.
Who'd they play? I think Jim Tomey was the only. He had a homer, and that was the only run. Who'd they play? Was it the Indians? No, maybe it was.
Game 63, Griffey, White Sox. Boom, should be loading. Maybe. There we go.
It's got to be. Maybe it is the Indians, or it's the Tigers, or it's the Twins.
It's not loading. But yeah, no, while this loads, my grandma's side of the family is born and raised in Chicago, and like
Okay.
so there, and then also they lived in Antioch,
Okay. Yeah.
Illinois. Yeah. So,
Yeah. I know where that is.
they were actually so they lived on the south side too. So they would take the L up to Wrigley. So
Yeah. Yep.
which I'm glad that I'm not a White Sox fan.
Oh yeah. No, definitely not.
I mean, my baby blanket was a fucking Cubs like blanket. So
Right.
I had no choice in that one. Yeah, it's actually the Twins.
Okay. Okay. That's what I figured. Yep.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
somebody in their division.
yeah, it was.
Okay. Yeah. And it was the blackout game. I think what is 1-0.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. My buddy who's a White Sox fan, he took me and I was like, dude, I want to go. I just want to see Griffey. I don't care. I was like, I'll wear black. I'll do whatever. I was like, and so you get there and they give us these rally towels and you think, oh, cool. It'll say blackout game on it. I was like, I'm going to sell this shit on eBay.
Oh yeah,
No,
make some money.
it looks like they went to Bed Bath and Beyond and purchased like 20,000 black dish towels or no, washcloths. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm looking at him and I go, he goes, I don't know. And
Welcome to the
so,
South Side.
yeah. And so we get there and this guy's in front of us. I'll never forget it. We're all waving our rally towels and the dude in front of us doesn't have one. So he's just waving his hand around. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So when the White Sox were in it this season, I texted him. I go, hey, you think that guy's there waving his hand again?
Probably.
Oh man. Jesus.
Got to hope and wish for that one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I'm like, so being a Cubs fan, like we all have our stories of how 2016 went for us.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear yours.
Mine. Okay. So my dad passed away in 2013. And then my mom passed away in 2016 after the Cubs won the World Series. So she got to see him win it. But my dad was a Cubs fan. My mom was a White Sox fan. And it's funny. My mom's mom is a Cubs fan. So,
Ooh.
yeah, my mom's mom and my dad kind of like would like rag on her. And so after my dad passed, she's like, you know what? I'll root for the Cubs for your dad. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And so when 2016 happened, my wife and I, now she was my like girlfriend at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting there and I'm like, and she didn't know like how big of a Cubs fan like I was. Like we're gonna have to watch every game and she's sleeping on the couch and I'm just like cheering, waking her up, waking the dog up. And so we get to the World Series. And, you know, as the story goes, down 3-1, win the one. So we get to game 7 and I have to work. I have to be on air at 7:00. And I tell my boss, I go, I'm sorry. I'm going to be live for a half an hour and I'm recording the rest. Because nowadays,
you have to do that though.
Yeah, little fun fact: everybody's recorded nowadays.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that, but
I learned that. I learned that quick. I watched the guy in the studio. It was like 5:30, and then he just goes boom, record, and then he recorded for like the next hour, hour and a half. And I'm like, damn, dude. He goes, yeah, that's how we do it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, because
interesting.
I'm not sure how they do it, like with like news talk or sports, but with like music, we literally get in there. It takes me roughly say about an hour, hour and a half to do a 3 hour show
Mm-hmm.
to like get all like the facts and everything and like the news and stuff. But so I record and like I'm amped the whole day. I'm like, we gotta win this. I'm like, I don't know. And so I record, go home, drive home as quick as I can, get home, and my wife goes, "All right, I got the TV on, it's ready to go. We're doing this." And oh, let me back up. Let me back up to Game 6 when Addison Russell hits the
Grand
grand
slam.
slam.
Yep.
So I was out. I'm like, all right. I was like, kind of got, we're iffy in this part of the order. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go take the dog for a walk to go to the bathroom, so we don't have to go out the rest of the game. And because we lived in a like a townhome subdivision where it's all townhomes, no yards,
Mm-hmm.
so I had to walk around. And so I have the game on, and she literally texts me and goes, "Oh my god, grand slam!" And I go, "Who? You got to tell me who." And she goes, "The Cubs, the guy with 27." And I go, Addison Russell. I go, "Let's go." And I go, "Come on, Ava, hurry up, go to the bathroom. We got to get back. We got to get back."
It's like
And so then Game 7, sitting there, and I'm like, "All right, we got this." I look at her. It's like, what is it? Eighth inning is when I can't think of his name.
uh
He tied it.
David Ross.
No, not David Ross. On the Indians. I
Oh,
can't think of his name.
Raja Davis.
Yeah, there you go.
That was probably one of the saddest moments I've felt.
I was like, we are about to win this. I'm standing up on the couch. I'm like, come on. I'm like, strike him out. I was like, we need to get out of this inning. And then he hits it, and I literally just fall to my knees, and I'm like, oh no, this is not happening. This is not
Yep.
happening. And then the extra innings, we get into we get to the rain delay, and I'm like, of course we have to
The
sit here.
way, yeah.
And my wife, my now wife, I took her to her first Cubs game in 2016. She went to David Ross's last home game
Oh wow.
against the Cardinals Sunday night on ESPN. She
Mm-hmm.
saw it all. So I was like, you're spoiled already. I was like, you got to sing Go Cubs Go, see David Ross hit a home run. His last game, you got to see a fight in the bleachers between a Cubs and a Cardinals fan. So you saw it all. I was like,
You experienced
yeah, yeah.
the
And so,
whole Wrigley experience right there.
and then she told me after that game that she's like, Twins games aren't even this fun. Like, these games are so much fun.
Yep.
Because I didn't even want to leave my seat with the
Yeah.
excitement. And so that's when she kind of got on board. Now she's a Cubs fan. And so she goes, I can't do this. She goes, a rain delay. She goes, we have to wait. I was like, I can't do this. She goes, my nerves are already. I was like, well, drink wine or something. So she pops open a bottle and she's just drinking from the thing. And I was like, all right, here we go. And then once they won it, I literally ran outside, ran down my street. And I was like, we're the champions. There's a guy in his boxers taking his dog out running by. And I'm like, we won it all. And he's probably like, what the hell?
So what is this dude doing?
Right. And so, I mean, being up here, you don't get a lot of Cubs fans. I
Yeah.
mean, they're kind of are like, they're like scattered. Like, it's funny, down the block, like 2-3 blocks, there's a Cubs fan. They have like Cubs license plate stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to run into them. Like, I purposely walk my dog that way wearing Cubs stuff. Like, come on, notice me. Let's talk.
I'm
Let's
a
be
fan too.
friends.
Like,
Yeah,
let's
let's be
talk about it.
friends. And but man, 2016 changed a lot of things. It was because that right then and there, I was like, man, I wish my dad was here to see this. He would have
Yeah.
loved it. And I mean, it's just one of those things that I think Cubs fans, no matter, I think if we win another one, people will still be they'll compare it to 2016. They'll be like,
And there will never be. I can firmly say that there will never be another championship that means as much to any other fan base, but to the Cubs in 2016.
oh yeah, because after they won it, you had the Harry Carey Budweiser commercial where they made it to where he was calling
Yeah,
them World Series champions, and it's
I
giving me
actually
goosebumps.
I actually have not seen that because we don't have. Because like up here, I don't see those commercials.
Right. Oh yeah, no, I didn't see. I saw it
Oh,
like on YouTube.
oh, then I'm gonna have to look that up for
Yeah,
sure.
it's I think it's like Carey Budweiser.
I'll just write it down for right now. But damn, yeah, it's no, it
Yeah, so yeah, if you just type in Harry Carey Budweiser World Series, first video that pops up, it's a minute 58.
oh yeah, I will watch that one.
Yeah, and it shows like the city, everybody like on their toes, like getting ready to watch the last out. And he literally, like, I don't know how they did it, but he calls and he goes, "And the Cubs are World Series champions."
That
It's
would be
it's pretty dope.
it. Yeah, I mean, it. I feel I feel like that everyone's stories like that I've like heard. It's almost like I mean like everyone has like an emotional tie to
Mm-hmm.
that. It's crazy.
Oh yeah,
It is unbelievable.
yeah. Because if you think like people like their grandparents or parents
Yeah.
passed away before they won, and it's like, well, I'm gonna get to see it, and this one's for them. And I
Yeah.
remember
100%.
when they won, we went to my grandma's uh, gravesite and we put a World Series champion sticker right on the grave. I don't know, it was there for like a good 2 years after they
Oh
won it.
wow.
So I don't know if it's still there, if it
Yeah.
or if just like the weather kind of took it off, but it was there for like a good 2-3 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine yeah, so in it's like 'cause my grandma bought me so we got like matching shirts that were like the just one before I die shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then in 2015 like they did a lot better than they thought they
Mm-hmm.
would. So it was just like this is this is happening.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the year when Schwarber hit that homer off Garrett Cole, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
That was the
that's the
wild
one.
card game
Yeah,
in
that's
2015.
that's where my now wife found out how big of a Cubs fan I was because I was going
Okay.
nuts.
Yeah.
I was in my Cubs shorts. I I think I just bought it just before I moved up here. It said Brian across the top and it was just like a photo of him and it was blue from like Dick's Sporting Goods when like he was getting like when he was like a rookie and I was wearing that and she was like, "Oh, this is a thing," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's a thing."
So yeah, my girlfriend now, like she kind of compares uh like me to the guy in Fever Pitch.
Okay. Yep.
Because she knew that I like baseball, but she didn't really realize how much. And then
Right.
she like walked into my apartment. She was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Hey, you aren't just dating me. Like you you will be a Cubs fan. You have no choice."
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
if you, yeah, yeah, it's. I feel bad for our significant others.
Oh,
It's kind of
that.
like they're saints for putting up with
Mm-hmm.
the Cubs.
Oh yeah. I think I watched pretty much every game, and she's like, "Are the Cubs on tonight?" And I go, "Yep." She goes, "All right." And she'll just watch TikTok the whole time, but I'm like, whatever. And then usually she'll ask, and I'll go, "No, they had a day game." And she'll be like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah, I'm glad that I am 2 hours behind you, so I can
Oh yeah.
so I can listen to it at work, and then I get home and it's just like we are good.
See, there's some things where I'm like, all right, I wish we were on the West Coast just because, just
It's
like the time difference. But I think sometimes it also like isn't like it kind of backfires too.
it's good and bad. Because I used to live down in South Florida for like I think in 2018, like I moved down there for a year, and it was nice because because you can watch like I guess like the East Coast games like earlier than no They were at 7 o'clock there, so they would have been 4 o'clock here.
Okay.
Actually, no, I lied. West Coast time is the best coast time.
That's what I figured because East Coast,
Yeah,
like watching Sunday Night Football, I'm like,
dude,
this
yes.
thing gets over at almost 11 or midnight.
Yep,
Stuff takes forever. And then I'm
yes.
like, okay, that's kind of, and I'm like, so whenever we go to Florida, I'm like, I cannot wait to get home and just watch sports at a regular time,
Yeah,
not have to stay up until like forever. And then I'm like, I feel like West Coast is great because you have football on in the morning. And
yep.
then,
About 10 a.m. It's nice.
yeah, and then like what? Sunday Night Football comes on at like 5,
Yeah, yeah,
and then it's done by 8.
yep. Yeah, I mean, I did not like staying up till 10 o'clock to watch like the West Coast games.
Oh yeah, no.
It sucked. It was not
Yeah,
fun.
like yeah. I know like during the playoffs, she was like, these games take forever. And I agree. Postseason baseball takes forever. I think it was they brought somebody in and it like a 5-minute warm up, and I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. Do do you think that there or I guess what rules do you think that they should change? I mean, to speed it up if you are for that.
You know, I'm for like kind of speeding it up, and I don't know what she's barking at, and I'm not walking upstairs. But hold on.
You're good.
All right, she might be good. She's probably barking at a rabbit, but I don't know. I'm for kind of like speeding it up. I mean, I like the pitch. Like they have a timer and it's like, oh, 3 batters and then you're done. Well, it's like, okay. Well, now you're kind of adding I get why you have the 3 because then it kind of does
Yeah.
speed it up rather than going, okay, so you're going to get this guy out. Oh, we're going to bring in another guy that's going to take even more. But I don't know. I think with with postseason baseball, I think the reason why it's so long is because the strategies, because you have
Yeah.
players taking pitches, you have them fouling stuff off, and you see the team like it's like I think it's over analyzed when you're in postseason because you over analyze everything and
Yeah.
like you have 10, 12 pitch at bats from like every guy, and you're like, okay, well, now what? You can't be like, okay, so on your 10th pitch, if you foul it off, you're out. I don't know.
Hey, I no, there's like I think with like what happened last week with the Dodgers and Giants, like with the
Oh
way
yeah,
that that ended, I mean, that there needs to be change for playoffs.
yeah. I think you need to be able to review that and go, we need to take a look at that
Yeah.
because that was bad.
It
But
I mean, I felt bad.
I will say
I
I am
felt
a
bad for the
fan.
Giants.
Oh yeah, I think they should be in this and not the Dodgers. But I also don't. I also like that you don't have the runner on second to start off extra innings.
I I didn't mind that, honestly.
No,
Uh-uh.
like I liked it during like the regular season, but I think during postseason they're right. You shouldn't have it because then
Yeah,
that
true.
just kill. Because if you're all of a sudden okay, we're up by 2. Okay, well now they got a guy on second and they hit a home run, they tie it up.
Yeah, there was so I bought season tickets to the Marlins in 2018. Pretty much only because it was probably the same price that I would have paid for the 4 Cubs games I went to for opening day.
No
And
shit.
yeah, so I bought season tickets for I think I paid like $375 for like the cheapest
Mhm.
tickets for my one spot for the whole year. And and then and then the Cubs played the first 4 games like of the season in Miami. So I'm like, this is a no-brainer. So
Yeah.
and then I think it was like game 2 of the series or game 3 of the series. They went to the 18th inning, and that was the longest game I have ever sat
I
through in my
bet.
entire life. And it was, I mean, there were so many opportunities for that game to end in like the 10th, 11th,
Mhm.
but it was unreal. And then they had to use like all their pitchers, and I mean,
I was gonna say
it
that's
was
when they
rough.
did that's when they didn't have the runner on second, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I think so they brought in Eddie Butler in like the 10th inning, and he threw until like the 17th. It was just like, yeah, it
Man,
was, and that just ruined the whole Cubs beginning. No,
that's
I don't know. Baseball's a weird sport, man.
it is. It is. You love it and you hate it at the same time.
Do you do you do you believe in the baseball gods?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. I believe on not walking over the white line and all that stuff. And
Oh, 100%. There was yeah, so in 2015, so my buddy and we went to a Mariners game for my birthday, and it was Mike Montgomery's debut,
okay.
and we both thought that he was going to be really really good like for the Mariners, and then he got traded over to the Cubs in 2016. I was hyped. I was so stoked. And then my buddy, like, he was like a diehard Mariners fan. I mean, he would always talk shit about the Cubs because they suck. And I'm like, okay, well, you're a Mariners fan. It's okay though. But then, yeah, but then like when he got traded over, he was like, like it's whatever. I mean, like I'll root for him. And so then my buddy that I went to that game with, he actually passed away in
Man.
September 26th, 2016. So
Oh
that
wow.
same season. So and then uh so then like a week later, it was game 1 of the NLDS, and it was it Giants and Cubs. And then I knew that like I just had a feeling that like my
Yeah.
buddy would somehow talk to the baseball gods and make the Cubs go to game 7 of the World Series just to piss me off. And like, and this whole thing happened, and I'm just like, no fucking way. And then we go game 7 in extras, rain delay, and then they bring in Mike Montgomery,
Montgomery.
last pitch. And I'm like,
Wow.
what the fuck?
He was like, "Hey, watch this."
And then like, I mean, I immediately like broke down crying. I mean, like after they won, and it was just like,
Damn.
I didn't know what to do. I
Yeah,
didn't know what to do
that's
with my hands. I didn't know what to do with my hands.
you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Wow,
uh,
that's crazy.
that's my 2016
Yeah,
story.
it all ties together.
Well, yeah. Uh, and I still have the ticket stub from that game that we went to, like for his debut. And yeah,
Wow.
it just, yeah, wild.
Man, I couldn't even imagine.
If, if, uh, if, if you had the opportunity to do like the radio broadcasting like for the Cubs, how fast would you hop on that?
Oh, I would so quick. So quick. I wouldn't even talk it over with my wife. I'd be like, yeah, hey,
We're gone.
so for the summer, we're gonna live in Chicago. Or I'm at least gonna live in Chicago. I would hop on it so quick. I mean, I got to hop on the Iowa Cubs
Oh
broadcast for my
yeah,
birthday.
yeah, I saw that.
So that was
That's
pretty
all.
cool.
Yeah,
That was actually my first minor league game, like the official minor league game
yeah,
of like MLB affiliate teams. That was my first game, and I was like, I fell in love with minor league baseball.
yep. That's what I love the minor leagues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's you get so many different like players, and you get tons of different stories from guys.
Yep. We so the St. Paul Saints up here, they just turned over to the Twins AAA affiliate, and as soon as they did, I'm like, I went to the schedule and I'm like, all right, division you're in. And I saw that the Iowa Cubs were in the division. I go, no shit. And I go, who are they playing? First game, they're playing the Iowa Cubs. And I'm like, I can't make that because we're in Florida. I was like, I'll have to make ones the next time. And they were on my birthday. And I was like, all right, I'm going.
We're going.
Yeah. And tickets were like $15. And
Yep.
it's ridiculous. But yeah, I loved it because I talked with not Austin Roman,
I would say
Andrew
because you got
Roman.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's because
Andrew Roman. We were
you,
talking about his homer off Kimbrel. So we were talking about that for a little bit, and then Brennan Davis comes walking by, and I go, "Brennan, what's up, my dude?" And he kind of gets in your head, and then I go, "Hey, quick photo, just a quick photo." And he comes by, and he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, man." And I was like, "Hey, man." It's like, "You're ready for the MLB?" And he goes, "I don't know." I was like, "No, you're ready, man. I'm going to Chicago next weekend. I'm taking you with me."
but yeah, I saw that you posted that picture on Twitter, and I was like, no fucking way, like
Mm-hmm.
this is awesome. Oh yeah, because you even got to do, and then like so you got to drink out of an actual like beer bat. I like the ones that were
Yeah,
being sold out there.
and what's weird is that game that I went to where we got the bats. I didn't
Mhm.
know. I think that was the only game they were doing
Oh really?
because when I went to that last Iowa Cubs game, I took my brother-in-law and I was like, "Hey, I was like, are we gonna get bats to drink out of?" I was like I did last time. He goes, "Oh hell yeah!" And so we went to the little area where they had them, and they're like, "No, we don't have any." And I was like, "Oh."
What?
I was like, "Was it like a one-time thing?" Or she goes, "We just don't have any." And I go, "Oh, okay." It's like I'm just wondering.
You damn, you lied.
So and but he had a lot of fun. I think he's more of like a hockey guy because
Yeah,
he's from here. He played hockey his whole life, and it's different because back in Chicago, there's like baseball fields and parks on like every corner.
yeah.
And I feel like Chicago's more like of a baseball, basketball, football city. And you come up here in the winter, there's like pond hockey rinks on every corner. Like they flood out little areas and they have like boards and everything set up in like parks and then they
Damn.
just flood them in the winter. So I'm like, you guys are just born with hockey skates on here.
Yeah, we I think our nearest like ice rink is probably about like an hour and a half away.
Jeez.
Yeah, we don't have. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like with like the Kraken. I mean, like coming to
Right.
Seattle, like I mean, because that's huge for us.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for that one. But
I yeah, I wish they didn't move the Thunder from Seattle. I wish
dude,
they would have kept them.
you and everyone else up here. This is actually probably everyone except for people who live in Oklahoma City.
Right.
That was one of the saddest things to
Mm-hmm.
ever happen to the Pacific Northwest.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because you get people like that will stand outside of like the Mariners Stadium, and they will be wearing like their Sonics gear, and then like they'll have like signs like
Yeah, like
like bring the Sonics back, and I mean like every game you always get people like to do that, and it's been 10 years.
well, hey, Alex Rodriguez might bring the Timberwolves, so
Yay, hyped about that. But no, it's I don't know, bit. I mean, hockey. Like I would have loved to grow up and play hockey.
Oh
It's
yeah, that's
been
what I was saying. I was like, up here, they have like leagues every day, and I'm like when I moved up here, I brought all like my softball stuff, and I told my wife, I go, there's like no softball leagues that I've heard of, and I go, are there any batting cages around here? She goes, what? And I go, like batting cages. Like, do you have like arcade places that have batting cages? She goes, the only like batting cages I know of are like half hour away, and I go, oh. Like
that's
so
weird.
this definitely is not a baseball town or whatever. I'm sure there's more batting cages, you just gotta look, but I don't think I've been to a batting cage here. But my wife's cousins, they're on like a men's softball team. So now I play that with them and pretty sure I have either a torn or a like a torn hip flexor.
Oof. The
So that's always fun.
Hey, men's
It's
local
hell getting
softball,
old.
dude. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I yeah, no, because I played a slow pitch softball now, so I mean
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
my thing.
same. Yep, that's what I do, and
Second
I
base because I can't throw it across the field anymore, and
I
it
used to
sucks.
like I played the outfield going back to little league. I was like 12 and I was playing shortstop. Ball rolled up my glove, hit me in the lip, and bit me.
Yep.
And I cried and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not being in the infield. I am done. I moved to left field, and that's where I played from I was 12 until my last year in high school, and then joined men's league softball back home. I was in left field and then moved up here, and I was like, I've lost a lot of steps, so I'm gonna play
Dude,
right.
there's lots of ways to get hurt in the outfield though.
And so I'm like, all right, well, now that I'm getting older, I was like, I can't make these runs, I can't make these throws.
Yep.
I go, my hip flexor hurts, my hips are tight. And I was like, guys, I'm gonna have to play first.
There's there no there's no that's a legit thing. Like so in high school I ran into a pole.
Mm.
My junior year during state, I ran full speed into like a crossbar, and I hairline fractured my skull and
Ooh,
like KO'd and like woke up in an ambulance, and it was oh yeah, I I found the only fucking crossbar in the whole stadium.
Jesus. I
Or you get hit in the dick by a ground ball that pops up and hits you.
mhm.
I've done that
I
one.
actually had so my mom's second cousin, which is weird because it's like, people are like, so my mom's second cousins, uncles, brothers, friends, twice removed,
Oh yeah,
kind of thing.
I've
But
never understood like the twice removed stuff,
yeah,
but I just say okay.
so my mom's second cousin knew the scout for the Minnesota Twins.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, hey, if you want, I can try to get him out here. And I'm like, what? Yeah, let's get him. And I was like, she goes, do you start? And I go, yeah, I play left field. I start for my high school team. I was like, I would like to think I'm pretty good. And so she's like, all right, I'll call him. He'll come out here. So he comes out to one of our games, and I think I get like a base hit, and I'm playing in the outfield, and I'm like, all right, I need to like wow this guy. And so I run, ball over my head. I run as quick as I can. Head goes up looking for the ball, mitts out, and I look the ball into my mitt. And as soon as I look it in, the fence is right there, and it's one of the posts. Bounce my head off
Yep.
it and just break my nose, and I'm done for the game. And it's like the third inning, and
Yep.
blood's just gushing down. I'm just like, well, there goes my my thing. And so my mom called her cousin and was like, so that's Scout. And she goes, yeah, that's gonna be. And she goes, that's what I figured, but we were just wondering like what his report, like does he have like a future in like college or whatever. And she goes, well, I'll send it over for you. And I lost it because there was only like three things on it. It said
I would
that
have framed that thing.
I know I should have, but nothing was positive on that thing. It was impatient at the plate, um, too small, no muscle, and it was like injury prone. And I'm like, oh man, I was
Injury
like,
prone. That's the best one right there. It's no, like I would have framed that thing, and that would have been like the motivation for like everything I did in life, like from then on out.
well, no, I did that with I didn't frame it, but I sent it back to him. So my high school, my college professor, I was doing it was like I think it was like advanced radio. It was like some class. And so we got our own like radio day. He would sit in there with us, and we'd pretend to do like a 5-minute radio show where we had to
Mhm.
read ads and stuff. And I couldn't get over this word, and it was bicycle. And for some reason, I couldn't say bicycle. I was like bicycle or
It's so cool.
bicycle. Like I was tripping over it, and I'm like, oh my! I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now. And so he's critiquing us and giving us back, and I'm talking to him after class, and I was like, that wasn't good. He goes, no, it wasn't. And I go, yeah. was like, I was like, are we ever gonna get another chance? He goes, that was pretty much our one day to do like a pretend like live show and whatnot.
Mhm.
And I'm like, all right. And I was like, do you have like any? I was like, even if it's bad, I don't care what the criticism is. He goes, let me just say this: your radio career is not gonna be that long. He goes, I don't think you'll make it in radio. And I'm like, all right. So then when I got hired up here, the press release, or like the press release that was in like the trades, I
Mhm.
literally like cropped the photo, took it up, emailed it to him, and was like, "Hey,
Yep.
you said I would never do it. I used you as motivation this whole time, and look at me now, full time. Got my own night show." And I was like, "I just wanted to send this to you." Never heard from
Good. He was oh, no, there's, like, the small things that, like, drive you, like, to do, like, what you do.
him.
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, so that would be, like, one big one for you, though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so like I kind of tell that story when people are all like about like radio and how I got into it is, and how I used my professor as a motivation to
Yeah. No,
yep.
I feel you. I mean, like, it's like I never once thought that I would be doing a podcast.
Oh
It
yeah.
it was kinda I mean, because I grew up and I had, like, a bad stutter, and I mean, like, I went to countless of hours, like, of classes, like, for stuttering, and I I mean, and then, like, once, like, baseball ended in 2020, and then, like, I didn't know when it was gonna come back. I'm like, "You know what? Like, I'm gonna bring that to me." So then, boom, like, I started this, and now it's just, like, I enjoy talking to people,
Oh yeah.
and, I mean, like, I don't I don't like people, but I like people, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Right. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, no, I mean, like, I would never think that I would be doing a podcast. It's kinda yeah,
That's the way everything's going now is podcasts. Like
it's
you can you
very
you can get music everywhere, but you can't
yeah,
get people's opinions, takes, their backstories through
exactly,
5-10 seconds of video. But if you have a podcast, then you get to know people and there's
exactly.
topics that you like. And
It's I mean, like, when like, first started it, I'm like, I wanna do everything absolutely perfect because, I mean, because that's what
mhm.
everyone was, like, successful doing, but then I quickly learned that it's just you just gotta do your own thing,
Yep.
and you just gotta I mean, like, for this, I mean, like, I I ask one question, and that's, "What do you do?" And then just go on from there. I mean, like, I don't write down notes, I don't do any of that stuff because I
Right.
want, like, a raw, I guess, like, unedited conversation.
Yep.
So it's
I
just like
totally
we're
get it.
talking, like, face to face at a bar, drinking
Yeah,
beer.
just having a beer, yeah,
Yeah,
and just bullshit. Yep. That's
that's
the
what I'm
way
saying.
that I think a lot of podcasts should be.
I mean, it's a very, very saturated industry. There's
Mhm.
everyone and their mom has a podcast nowadays,
Yep.
but you just gotta separate yourself.
Yeah,
Well,
that's all you can do.
I guess, like, so that brings up a question. What what do you think separates you between the other people that you had a job interview with for, like, what you do now? Like, what separates you?
I honestly think it's my work ethic and
Mhm.
the fact that I think there's times where I try to be too perfect because if something's not right,
Yeah,
I'll go and redo it, and I'll keep listening and I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me, and I'll just keep working on things, and I try to get everyone's feedback. And
yeah,
my biggest thing is social media, where I was handed the keys to the social media for the station I was on and these two other stations. And they were like, "Yeah, you're the one that's got to post everything." And I'm like, "Oh man, all right." And so I was focused mainly on like the country station because I'm like, I'm on there. And I
yeah,
was like, man, we are cruising. And so I'm looking at this other station that we have, and I'm like, man, they're getting like one like. And I'm like, this thing should have like 30 or 40 likes on it. And
that's
I'm
what I'm
like,
saying.
what is going on? And so what I kind of did was I would kind of post like memes and articles and kind of like build people to like click like, and until I finally got them to where I would post something and it would get 50 likes.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, okay. So people are finally understanding, oh, wow, this page is actually doing something. And so I kind of bring that up to where is I can grow and I can grow a brand. And so I think that kind of people are like, oh, well, yeah, kind of do that. And I'm like, yeah, I went literally from 0 to 1 likes to having like 50 to 100 likes on a
Yeah.
post.
Yeah.
And all you got to, and I was like, I wasn't content with going, okay, well, we got 3 or 4 now instead of like 1 or 2. So I'm more about like, how can we get better? We need to get better and
Yep.
better and better and better. And like now my boss will just be like, oh yeah, you're doing everything cool. And so I tell other people, I go, no, tell me what I'm doing wrong. That's what I want, is I want to know what I'm doing wrong.
Constructive criticism, man.
Yeah.
That is, and
Yeah.
that is one of like my most favorite things. Honestly, like I like to hear the stuff like what I can improve on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm like a very easy thing to fix.
Right.
I think so, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I am. Because I want to know what I can fix rather than, okay, well then if I'm good, well then, all right, I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done.
I mean, like, cause I found you that way. It was just, I think it was Obvious Shirts actually retweeted you, and I was like, oh, okay. So then, like, I clicked on it, and I was like, okay, I'll follow him, and boom, like, and that's how this whole thing started.
Yeah. I gotta love Joe and everything. And obviously he's probably sick of me right now. Cause what was it, on the 10th? I go, hey, I just DM'd him. I go, hey, when are you gonna have the baseball's dope shirts back in stock? I go, I need an XL. And he was like, the 20th. So literally today, slide back into the DMs.
Yeah,
I go, hey, today's the day. Let me know when. And I haven't heard from him, but I'm like, he's probably like, this dude.
yeah. I got a random. It was like, so he followed me on Twitter, and it was like, I was like, no shit, like this is badass. So then I sent him a DM, because I mean, like, I didn't think that he was gonna reply to it. But then yeah, and then I asked him like if he wanted to be like on the podcast, and I was like, and he was like, yeah, for sure, like just let me know. I'm like, no way, like
Yeah,
this is badass.
he's so down to earth. And like I finally got to meet him like face to face rather than through Twitter.
Yeah.
Uh this past September, I got to like walk through the store and
Oh, and so
talk
because
with them. Yeah.
you went for the Cardinals were in town.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, because I saw that was it on Marquee?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
I love Mark. Like, there's a lot of people are like, oh, Marquee. I was like, you know what? I'm a fan of them because I can watch Cubs games finally. And
100%. Yeah,
I was like, I'm gonna support the station that carries them.
exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna trash them. I'm gonna hype them up. If you want to be the one that brings them down, you be the one that brings them down. I was like, because I'm not. I'm more about positivity. So if you come at me like on Twitter or whatever and just negative, instant block.
Yeah.
People are like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
that's
for
that's
sure.
the easy way out. I like, no, because I want to be positive. I want people that are going to be doing good things, that hyping each other up, and
Exactly.
I'd rather have positivity than negativity. I think, what was it? Joe Madden said we should have negative Twitter and positive Twitter. If you want to be on negative Twitter, be on negative Twitter. If you want to be on positive Twitter, be on positive Twitter. And I was like, that
100%.
100%, Joe, 100%.
I like I mute a lot of people. That's
Mm-hmm.
my. I mean, it just the kind of. I mean, like, I'm especially being like a Cubs fan. You get you get all the fans like who would do certain things in certain situations.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, you're not there. Like, there's a lot more to go. I mean, like, that goes on to what
Yeah.
actually happens, especially with this year with the whole like the trade deadline and all that
Mm-hmm.
craziness. But no, it's I like the community of being a Cubs fan.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly.
I think we have one of the best communities on Twitter. And
Oh yeah.
it seems like every Cubs fan is just behind each other 100%.
Say, but you have the Cubs official page follows you.
That let me tell you, I had to get some help with that one. I There's this Cubs fan at Taco Aficionado. Her name's Ashley, and I was like, man, Cubs are like interacting with her and like stuff, and fuck, I want that.
I always go through like the thing, and I'm like, why do they follow you? Like, what do you do?
And so I'm like, you know what? So I DM her and I go, hey, I go, how do you get the Cubs to follow you? I go, it's been a long time. Because what's funny is the Cubs, they did follow me for a while. And I think they just unfollowed. I don't know why they unfollowed me. I think it's because I got a new account. Maybe it's that. But so when I was at US 99 in Chicago, I was like, man, I'm on the radio. I was like, hold on, let me ask them something. So I slide into their DMs and I go, hey, do you ever need somebody to throw out the first pitch? I go, because I would love to throw out the first pitch. It's always been a dream of mine.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yeah, we'll let you throw out the first pitch and everything and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I get a text message from, sorry, excuse me, my
You're good.
boss at the time. And she goes, did you ask to throw out the first pitch of the Cubs game? And I go, yeah. I go, I figure it'll just bring me like people will get to know me and whatnot. And I go, I've always wanted to throw out. She goes, well, that's with sales. And you went behind their back, and that's kind of like a big no. So we're not going to let you do that.
What?
And I'm like, oh, okay. So that's when I kind of got the thing like, okay, so everything has to go through sales now. And so I learned the hard way, and I'm like, all right, well, I can't do it, blah, blah, blah. And so come find out this. Actually, I go, so how do I get them to follow me? She goes, so here's what you do. She goes, you make a list, you tag them in, and you keep tagging them in it of give 4 reasons on why they should follow you. She goes, that's what I did. I made a list of, hey, this is why you guys should follow me. Boom, boom, boom. And she goes, I tagged them in it and then tagged them. And then I had my friends comment on it a little bit later. And you finally get it. And so I'm like, no way this fucking works. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it.
Mm.
So then I go, hey, these are the reasons why you should follow me. And I'm like, biggest Cubs fan in Minnesota, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, all right. And I send it off. And then Marquee out of nowhere, because I've been following them. They just,
Yeah.
and then they followed me back and they were like, and I was like, man, if they follow me back, I will run down the street with my W flag. And so Marquee was like, you won't. And then as soon as they sent that, it said Cubs followed you. And I'm like, no shit. I'm like, let's go. And then they put the little eye emoji.
Damn.
And so I had my wife go outside when this was during COVID. We went outside and she filmed me running down the street with my W flag. And that's the video that plays every time
They
we
win.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's where that video came from.
I need to come up with something like that. Oh my God. I would love to. I mean, like, I guess, like, just to say that my favorite team follows me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what you should do. You should, I think you should make a little list about why they should follow you. And then you should just add that you're the biggest Cubs fan in Washington. Yep.
I will actually write that tweet tonight.
Yeah. Just say that and be like, hey, we're not in the postseason or whatever. Or maybe it's the off season for us. And
I will actually come up with something tonight.
mm-hmm.
That's 100% fact.
And I'll get a couple of people to like it. I'll like it.
Deal. Yeah.
I'll like it and retweet and say, do it.
I can do that. Hold on. I'm going to write that note down so I can just get it done and then come up with ideas. Cubs follow ideas. Deal. No, that's gonna happen. Social media is the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's everyone connects. That's how. Yep. I mean, it helped you, it helped me, and then now we're here. So
I know
I have one more question for you, and then we're gonna wrap it up a little bit. How did you get, or how did you see the mac and cheese club, Kraft mac and cheese?
Okay, so with radio,
I signed that up today.
Yeah, I signed up as soon as I saw it as well. I was like,
Yep.
at first, I'm like, I hope you don't have to pay for this.
Oh, I know. I saw
And then when I
free,
was
and I'm
like,
like, I'm all in.
yep.
Let's do this.
So with radio, a lot of people don't know this. So with radio, we all have like prep services that like I don't know if the station signs up for or they trade it
Hmm.
out or whatnot for commercials. And so one of our prep sites, which if you don't know what a prep site is for those listening, it's it's a site that we go to that has everything that's gone viral, everything that's gonna be viral. That's like pop news, world news. There's like country news. So you just go there, and that way you
Hmm.
don't have to scour the internet. They give you everything what they think listeners want to hear. And one of the things today was Kraft announced a macaroni and cheese club, and I clicked on it and I go, "What?" I was like, "I need to be a part of this."
I was hyped for like when I saw that. I was like, let's go. Like, I love mac and cheese.
Oh yeah, and what's great is it's called I think it's called Flavors, like it's FLVRS.
Yep. Yep.
So they tried to make it like social media friendly, like people using season SZN. And so what it is the Kraft Mac and Cheese Club is you just sign up, it's free. I think it's on the 25th is their first drop where it's like um a seasoning packet or something that you put in the mac and cheese. And when they drop whatever, I don't know if it's a link or it's a code. As soon as they drop the code, you go back to the Flavors website, sign up, and you can either get the you either get the seasoning and then you can also get like free merch or something like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like I think it's how they're trying to connect with like mac and cheese lovers on social media. Like, hey, we're going to create this club,
It's
but we're only
smart.
going to give out certain amount. Yeah, you're going to give out certain amount, but we're going to get people back going to the traffic. And then I'm sure there's probably going to be somewhere where, oh, hey, if you join $5, you get
Yeah. Hell
extra.
no.
Yeah,
No, I just want to see if I won, because if I won a whole bunch of mac and cheese, like that's all that I would eat for the next I mean like for the
right.
next week or two.
Hmm.
So hell yeah. Mac and cheese lovers out there?
I hope there are. I mean, there's got to be. I shouldn't say I
Always.
hope there are.
Well, Mike, I appreciate everything. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Always go Cubs.
Go Cubs.
And